What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. As we start today off, we're hopping into Wolverine issue number 12. We had last left off with Wolverine finding his mother. Back at the old Howlett estate, he found her, but he also found Sabretooth. And as fans, we were left questioning, how the hell is any of this possible? But then we finally learned that Mastermind is behind everything. That Mastermind was showing him Sabretooth, is showing him his mother, pretending to be her, betraying her. And so when Sabretooth just disappears, Wolverine grabs his mother, they hop into the truck and they hightail it out of here. Sometime later, by the time the sun's already come up, we see the two of them driving down the road. And the dialogue, it really starts to pick up. His mother saying that, "I know you want some answers, but I appreciate you not pressing me." Truth be told, Wolverine, he's still trying to wrap his head around how any of this is possible. Everyone saw her take her own life. She died. Now this is where she tries to convince him that she did. She did take her own life. But the next thing she knows, she's waking up, almost like death was some kind of deep sleep, blaming all of it on Sabretooth, saying that he's the one that brought me back so that he could hurt you through me. When Wolverine suggests maybe going and finding the X-Men, he doesn't say X-Men explicitly. He says to go and find his friends. When his mother brings up the X-Men, this is when he notices that something is horribly wrong. He starts to look around. The bulldozer, the hikers, they've already been this way twice now. It's almost like they're driving in circles. He knows that something is wrong here. Someone is messing with his head. Wolverine now knows this is not his mother. The rational part of him, it probably always knew that this wasn't his mother, but he wanted to believe. He needed to believe. But now he destroys any part of him that did believe that. Any hope that his mother might still be alive, he snuffs it out. And then he's left in the darkness. Left here with Mastermind. And Wolverine wants to know, how have you gotten so deep in my head? How are you working as if you're a telepath? Because you've always just been an illusionist. This is where we learn that Mastermind, he's been practicing his craft. His illusions have always worked directly on the mind. He just now has a fuller understanding of them. And in all honesty, you can thank the X-Men for this. Genius was being found left and right. New powers being developed. Circuits being created. Omegas rising to the top. And so he started to study his own gifts. He may not be a telepath, but he taught himself to listen to the minds of his victims, to do this for inspiration when creating his illusions. He wanted to get his revenge on the X-Men. He planned to make Wolverine his weapon, like so many have before. But when he reached into the mind of Wolverine, in the mind of a bloodthirsty killer, what he found was a child, a terrified one. Then he came to realize that he didn't need to defeat him by attacking him. He could defeat Wolverine by parenting him. With Wolverine hearing enough, he charges in, claws out, and ready to kill. And those claws, they meet their mark. He takes him down, but this, of course, this is just an illusion. And if that's not the real Mastermind, that means that he's lost in an illusion. The estate falling away and finding himself lost in a maze of staircases. He tries to track Mastermind, but really it's like stumbling through the dark. No reference points, no landmarks, nothing to hold on to. And then the illusion of his mother telling him that he's a devil, telling him that he's worthless, that you're not my son. And Wolverine, he says, you're right. I'm not your son. My mother died. She wasn't a monster. She wasn't a villain. She was a damaged, troubled woman, stuck in a really backwards kind of life. But she did the best she could, the best she knew how. Yeah, she lashed out at me, but I could sit here and dwell on it. I can make it everything about me. Or I can accept that this was simply a part of life. It was the life that I led, and there's nothing I can do to change that. And when Wolverine walks through a door, he's back in the Howlett estate. And he's thinking, finding his mom, fighting Sabretooth, going on the run, was it all just head trips? Has he been sitting in this room the whole time? At this point, he can't be sure of anything anymore. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what day it is. He doesn't know who's alive. He doesn't know who's dead. All he can be sure of is that Mastermind is behind all of it. Seeing him at the top of the staircase, he charges. And Mastermind, he throws illusions at him as Wolverine tears through them. He does so until he gets close and personal. And Wolverine, taking those claws, he slices and dices. He tears Mastermind apart. He has to ask Wolverine, are you sure that this is real? Will your eyes ever be sure again? As Mastermind bleeds out on the ground. Just like that, it's over. In the rush, it lasts momentarily, but it fades just as quickly. And as it goes, the doubt, the loss, the pain, it all comes calling again. This is where we see another image of Wolverine. No blood on his body. No Mastermind dead on the ground. Just him in the old Howlett estate. And he says that he needs to get out of here. With Mastermind dead, he half expected the Howlett estate to really just vanish, but it still stands. In the stormy weather, the hollow home remains an old memory of what once was. And if Wolverine's being honest with him, he doesn't know if any of this is even real, but he knows he's got to start somewhere. So he starts with the ground beneath his feet, the rain, the scents, the smells. By as much as he can tell, this is real. Wolverine tells himself that it's gotta be, and that is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. What do you think about that ending? Do you think he's still inside of some kind of illusion? Or did he actually break free? Based off of seeing him standing there with no blood on him, no Mastermind's body. Either he's having a psychological break, or Mastermind's illusion is still got hold of him. It's all just a trap, making him believe this. This is all in an effort to probably try and control him like he was saying, and use him as a weapon. And so the idea behind it, not necessarily original, we've seen it 1,001 times, and I think that's my biggest harp on this, is that we're yet again seeing someone try to use him as a weapon. To see him used as a weapon against his friends. You know, it's a trope that we've seen time and time again, which it definitely can make for a good X-Men story or a good Wolverine story, but I think we need something new. You know, let's do something new with Wolverine. Let's not repeat the same old stories time and time again. Let's take him down a new path. When it comes to the story arc, there's nothing really groundbreaking going on here. Now, we could get to the end, and this could be a huge character development for Wolverine, dealing with a lot of trauma and so on and so forth. Hopefully, we can be done dealing with trauma, because that's another thing. Wolverine, a lot of his stories surround trauma, surround him dealing with this trauma. You know, at this point, it's like, all right, Wolverine, you've dealt with your trauma, homie. You've been alive for a long time. Like, at what point are we gonna stop hashing up the past and actually move on from it? This one I don't mind as much because he hasn't really dealt with his mother and the trauma that comes with that. He's dealt with the trauma of experimentation, of being kidnapped, of being a weapon, but he's never dealt with this trauma per se. Not to this extent and not really solving any of it. So I don't mind this story when it comes to trauma. It just really doesn't feel like anything groundbreaking, doesn't feel like anything revolutionary, it doesn't feel like anything I'm rushing out to go and buy the comic, if you know what I mean. But it's definitely worth at least one read. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been going on with the Wolverine series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Having a bunch of different tiers, a bunch of different perks, it hugely helps out the channel. But if you're not able to do that, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel, liking the video, hitting that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.